These mountains in Japan are empty. It's not that there was never anyone here. There are lots of signs of civilization. Roads and dams and electricity lines. Even houses and shrines. But no people. This is a beautiful mountain region in the western half of Japan's island of Shikoku. It's full of lush forests, tranquil waterfalls, and striking gorges. It used to be a place people lived and worked, but now they're all gone. So what happened? The history of this region goes back centuries and centuries. There were lords and castles and villages, but also something else: minerals. Mining first began in the 1600s, during the reign of these guys, but the industry exploded during the Meiji era as the demand for materials skyrocketed alongside Japan's race to industrialize. Mines sprung up all around the region, as did the villages, schools, and facilities that were needed to support the industry and the workers. Ore was drug out of the ground by the ton, and there were all kinds of it, especially copper, manganese, and antimony. But as is the case with so many places that depend on a single industry, especially mining, that boom eventually became a bust. Downturn of the industry in the post-war era and the depletion of the ore itself caused these once prosperous mines to close one after the other, and the last one was shuttered in the 70s. With no industry to support them, and an isolated landscape that made any economic prospects bleak, the population of the area collapsed, with people seeking opportunities elsewhere. And so this once thriving region was reduced to ruins, and little more than a spot on the map, a dark hole between population centers. Even the highway doesn't pass through here. The main routes go to the east and west. The only way to access this region is by isolated, poorly maintained mountain roads, many of which aren't even marked on modern maps. A Buddhist pilgrimage route passes through the area, but it's otherwise isolated, abandoned, and largely forgotten. Here's a first look at some ruins of the old mining industry. As soon as you enter this area, this building lays derelict and abandoned on the side of the road. The facility is right beside a stream bed that flows down from a waterfall a short way up the mountain. Here up close to the building, you can really get a feel for the age of the place. The weathered concrete walls are covered in moss and lichen and who knows what else. It rains in this area a lot, so it's the perfect conditions for plant life to thrive. This says V Belt B. And it's been raining a lot today. It's pretty soggy just about everywhere. It's hard to say exactly what purpose this hole would have served, or even this whole building, but I can imagine ore being processed or materials being stored here. This little staircase leads up around the back of the building. And there's a little memorial here. Up here above where I was standing before, there's no roof, and you can see down into the facility. Around here, there's another little secondary structure, maybe a tank or something. A short way up the mountain is this scenic little stream. Its water is swift and clear and incredibly cold. You wouldn't know it at a glance, but around this area was one of the main mines, and the last one in operation when it was closed down over 50 years ago. Nowadays, the forest has reclaimed much of the surroundings, but there are still signs of what once was. This old little wooden bridge spans the stream. There's also paths that go further up the mountain, signs of digging, and also this very old retaining wall built out of stones on either side of the stream bed. Even deeper into the forest, at the heart of this mountain region, is a reasonably well-preserved settlement given its age. But when I first arrived there, something was unsettling. After exploring the mine facility and the stream, the village was so quiet. It honestly gave me chills, and for a while, I didn't want to be there. It was also really dark for the middle of the day, and the camera had trouble adjusting. The brightness in that last clip was unedited. This also isn't the first time I've been to this location specifically. I came here during the summer, around 1.5 years ago, with my friend Shun. We enjoyed having a look around as part of a road trip, but I wanted to return here to properly document it. This is the first house you encounter as you enter the village. The plaster's fallen off in big chunks. Much of the walls are covered in vines and plant life, and everything seems to be caving in. It's kinda spooky how the door just sits completely open. It looks like it fell right off its hinges. In a lot of ways, it's crazy that anything is left standing, but a lot of it probably looks just about the same it did the day people left. Look, it's like there's a bridge and it's like falling in. Like it looks like it's gonna collapse. It's just a big hole underneath. Right near the house is this structure that must be a furnace. It's crude and built by hand, almost certainly by the residents of the village. It's got this tin roof that's become so covered with pine needles, leaves, and plant matter that the whole structure almost blends in with the forest.
What's that?
It's like a oven,
Yeah.
like a furnace.
Like, made in pizza?
This here is the lower part of the house. It was built into the hillside. For me, the house feels particularly ominous from this angle. Look at that. I'm gonna go up to it. Now this is Haikyo. Yeah, I'm definitely not going under there. But that is incredible. Yeah. Gas can?
These are for, how can I say it? Oven? No. Stove?
Oh. Yeah. It's a door into a basement maybe, but I think we'd die if we went in there. This building is like literally falling apart. Several more houses are hidden amongst the trees over this way. Here I'm outside of the thicket of the trees behind me, and I feel a bit more at ease. It's brighter, and I can feel the wind, and there's even some birds chirping in the background. Look at how the vines have grown in and around these bicycles. This here is a shed or a garage. It's attached to the house next door. It's full of lots of tools and farming equipment, including this very old threshing machine with an interesting design. It's always crazy with these kinds of places, with how old this place is and how long it's been abandoned. There's still all this stuff here. Obviously a lot of it's been moved around by time and storms and animals and things like that, but it makes me wonder how many things are still sitting exactly how they were, when the last residents left decades and decades ago.
Yeah. Oh my god. The machine looks so old and then bored. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Ora, shiki, raha, hojori. What? That's so old Japanese kanji. Maybe Meiji era. Or Showa era.
Here's an old washing machine. And over this way is some kind of tool or appliance that's become totally rusty. All this stuff is just buried by the leaves and been left to rust under decades of rain and humidity and that kind of thing. That tire on top though still looks to be in really good shape. In here is a boot and all kinds of disused objects. There's lots of just stuff lying disused all around here. Around the back here, the walls have just totally fallen away. You can see the traditional building techniques with the wood and the packed earth that's exposed now. This kind of burned finish is another traditional building technique, but most of the charred wood has flaked by now. It's crazy how much plant life has grown up on the sides of the walls. Here you can see through the building back to where I was standing before on the other side. There's lots of shelves and stuff in there. And look at the grate on that window and how that's still standing in relatively good shape while everything else is kind of wasted away around it. Around this part, the buildings here are in a lot worse shape. They're more on the slope of the hill, so I wouldn't be surprised if erosion played a factor in the deterioration of these buildings. You can still really get a good idea for what used to be here, but now everything is mainly just a pile of wood and roof tiles. You can really get a sense for how time has warped things. But it is really interesting to see what is still standing and why. At what appears to be a window here, the metal has totally rusted and started to flake away. The wood is largely rotted, and yet this one part remains upright after everything else has collapsed. And here, even as the packed earth has slowly eroded over time, these bamboo poles remain. I wonder how long ago they were staked into the ground. I have to assume this building was already old when it was abandoned decades and decades ago.
Japanese style roof.
Oh yeah, on tiles. Yeah.
There's the door. I mean, like it has a second floor.
Oh.
Then
Yeah,
it
you-
collapsed already.
Yeah, that's crazy. You can see where it just fell through. So very, very old.
This long since disused chicken coop gives a hint of the more self-sufficient lifestyle people in this isolated area would have led. Over this way are even more buildings. This one is remarkably well preserved. Just through the trees here is the last house I wanted to take a look at, and perhaps the most interesting. For one thing, it's in a very good state compared to the rest of the houses in the buildings. Look at the window here. Of course the paper is gone, but the delicate wood frame is still there. And although the roof of the house appears to be just plain sheet metal, if you look carefully, you can see there's actually a thatched roof underneath. And over this way, we can look right into the house. The inside here is seriously fascinating. You can see all sorts of things that were left behind. Furniture and jars and bottles of alcohol. I would have loved to see what this place was like when people lived here.
Oh, this is crazy.
Look at the bottom. Look at
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, furi karupisu.
Hey, this is like pram.
Umeshu.
Hey, look the fucking big spider!
Oh my
No
gosh.
way! Oh my
my god.
That is the biggest spider I've ever seen in my life.
Oh.
Oh, that
This
is so
not a spider.
awful.
Not a spider. It's not a spider.
Oh, is it a cricket? What is it?
Yeah. Why a cricket?
It's so big though.
What?
This place, wow.
Man. We can see the ball, no? Not everything, bro.
This abandoned village is one of the most interesting I've ever had a chance to explore. I've been thinking about this place ever since I came through here before, and I'm glad I could finally make a video about it. It's hard to look at the story of this area as anything other than a tragedy, but it's a fascinating story regardless. The people who lived here are long gone, but the places they lived in and the things they had remain, offering us a window into another time.
I found real favorite. That's a hot spring, right?
Yeah.